Hey, shalom, shalom. We are the Hebrew Israelites back again with another lesson through the Spirit, another camp. And first and foremost, before we get started, we want to give all honor, praise, and glory to
Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham.
We want to give double honor to the apostles and elders of GMS who teach and rule well. Shalom to you fellow brothers and sisters out there listening and learning, fighting still by the faith. And shalom to our fellow brethren that are pushing this word in all truth and sincerity. So all we want to say shalom.
Shalom.
And we hope and pray that this camp lesson will be edifying to the elect.
That's right.
So we want to start off today with prophecy, man. You know, and the word, like, you know, we like to bring out prophesy is a compound word.
That's right.
Pro meaning before, beside meaning to say. It's literally say before.
That's right.
Because the prophets in old time were known as seers, man.
That's right.
And through the spirit and power of Yahawashi, we can see these things that are on the horizon that are soon to come on this world, man. Especially here in Babylon, man. You know, aka America. Right. So we start off with the spirit of prophecy is the spirit of Yahawashi, man.
Book of Revelation, chapter 19, verse 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahawashi. Worship Yahawah, for the testimony of Yahawashi is the spirit of prophecy.
Right, so the testimony of Yahawashi is the spirit of prophecy, man. So we're commanded to go into these things and bring it out for you brothers and sisters that are out there, man.
That's right.
You know, of the hopeful elect. You know, so we did a midweek lesson, you know, back on Wednesday or Thursday, and we didn't get a chance to read through the article that we're going through about the CBDC. This article saying the CBDC will be implanted under your skin, man, which is ultimately the seed, man. You know, so through the Spirit, we want to just read through that article real quick. The brother Malak's going to bring it out, and you know, we'll just let the article come out, and then we'll get some more prophecies, man, some more scriptures, and we hope and pray that it's edifying to the elect. Yeah.
So this is by Planet Today. This was day 710. No noise.
Right. As soon as you start bringing out this information, Satan got to start doing their bullshit.
So July 10, 2023, this came out by the Planet. Planet Today is called, right? The title of it is WEF, World Economic Forum, saying CBDC must be implanted under your skin if you want to participate in society. Okay, we're going to jump down to the article again. It says the WEF has declared that all citizens must be implanted with the CBDC MC-HIP, right, or micro-C-HIP in the very near future in order to be able to fully participate in society and do basic things such as purchase food and water. According to Professor Richard Werner, in the very near future, citizens it says in quote, need to use the latest technology, end quote, such as, quote, CBDC C-HIP implant, end quote, in order to access their bank accounts.
Revelation 13 to 16 all day, man.
Key words, man.
Right.
A bunch of scriptures should be coming to your mind. It says, Professor Richard A. Werner is an economist and professor of banking and finance. He is known as the proponent of a new post-crisis monetary policy he called quantitative easing, or QE. So this man basically is paid for that position to come up with that type of what do we do after this kind of crisis.
Right. And that's to make themselves appear as the savior, man.
Right.
They cause problem, react to solution.
Right. And as you said, look what it says now.
Order out of chaos.
Right. Which they what's it called? Perpetuate.
Which they are too.
Yeah, that's so. Right. So it says he is known as the proponent of a new post-crisis monetary policy he called quantitative easing, QE, which he proposed in Japan in 1995 as chief economist of a British investment bank. He has worked as a researcher at the University of Oxford, the Bank of Japan, the Development Bank of Japan, and the Asian Development Bank. He is involved in supporting the establishment of non-profit community banks through an initiative called Local First TIC. ExposedNews.com reports at the Amsterdam Science Summit 2022, Professor Warner gave a lecture of central bank digital currency, CBDC, and the 2030 agenda. At the sidelines of his year's Amsterdam Science Summit, he spoke to Ever Cummins about CBDC and how high inflation has been orchestrated by central banks to further their agenda.
You don't say.
Leave it right there. Actually, that's perfect.
You don't say.
Right.
High inflation.
Right, yeah.
And what's inflation? Where the cost of living goes up, everything in the market goes up, the price of everything's going up, gas is going up, and now they're exposing themselves that this is part of an agenda. You don't say for what, right? For what? So that the economy can crash, right?
So I got one for you. Go ahead. I like it.
Now you got
I was just mentioning I got one for you.
Right.
Just because of the way it's coming out in the scripture, in the article,
Right.
uh,
That's their own tongues falling upon themselves, man. You know?
Psalm 64:8. So they shall make their own tongues to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away.
All right. That's like if you can go up in Psalm 64, right? Yeah. 64. This is part of the, there we go. You can read from one.
I thought I was.
Yeah.
It says to the chief musician, a psalm of David. Hear my voice, O power. In my prayer, preserve my life from fear of the enemy.
Right. So this is King David. This is a Psalm of King David, right? And also King David also said, preserve my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. Right? Psalm 17, was it 17 and 13, I believe? You know? But King David obviously knew who his enemies are, man. That's why it's so important for you Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and our scattered brethren amongst the heathen nations, to know who your enemy is, man.
That's right. I got a quick precept.
Yep, all right.
Sirach chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy. Because the brother said, King David knew who his enemy was.
Right.
We know who it is now. And Sirach is telling us never trust them in any situation.
Right.
I mean, you have to supplant these demons, these heathens, and know how to walk accordingly. But you never trust them. You never fully put your life or your
trust.
your fortress on them, man, at all. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be wise. You can deal with them, but you can't trust them.
Right.
You said the key word. You got to be wise. You got to learn how to move accordingly around them, right? The scriptures speak about being wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. You know, and that goes into knowing how to move around these heathens, right? If it be possible, we live peacefully with these heathens, so we move accordingly. But everything they do, every action, which you're speaking about, you know, the job that I got, every action, every word they say, you know, you watch, you listen. See what I'm saying? But you never trust them.
And you walk accordingly.
You walk accordingly, you analyze them, you know, because these devils are slick, man. These devils are deceivers, they liars, they
attackers.
Attackers, manipulators,
That's all
slanderers.
That's all the definition, etymology of the word devil.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
All that.
Slanderers, liars, deceivers, and attackers. This is 4 things that the so-called white man does on the regular.
That's right.
It's truly a chess game. Every time you got to deal with these damn devils, man, because they're always playing games and shit. They're never straightforward with you, man. It's always a underhanded fucking thing with them.
That's why the brother quoted, "Be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove." Because you wise to know that that's your enemy, and even though you want to choke the shit out these niggas, because through the spirit, you get vexed enough that you're like, man, these motherfuckers, but you can't do that right now, man. You can't. Vengeance is not yours, it's of the Lord, man.
And that's why, going back to the article, this is why when we speak about how they're trying to implant people with the C-hip, and they speak about with the how inflation is part of their agenda, you know, these are things that we've been known and had the understanding that whatever these devils say, in the sense of speaking well about this device, the C-hip, this technology, when they speak well about it, we understand that's bullshit. We understand that we should not trust this devil. We should not trust this nation, Esau, Edom, so-called white man, because we understand this is ultimately part of their agenda. All right, same way that they just expose themselves by declaring that inflation is part of their agenda. Because what happens when inflation happens? The economy crashes. when the economy crashes, that affects your dollar, right? The whole world in the state of going into a digital currency. How ironic, right? Ultimately leading to what? To you getting a device implanted in your skin to help you maneuver in the digital world. How ironic, right? But now, listen, man. Let me get this, brother, before you continue in that book of Bahasham.
Not ignorant.
Right, 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices.
Well, I had
man.
that one on
Right,
deck.
right.
Because Esau is known as the crafty, man.
That's right.
You know, he's the one that'll lay in snares. I mean, shit, look at any National Geographic. The way they trap up rabbits and lay snares for the birds and shit
Right.
like that, they lay snares for our people, man.
That's right.
So like it says in, matter of fact, you can grab that, put that on deck. Lamentations, the 4th chapter, around 21, 22.
I got you.
You know, they I believe it's that one. It says they lay wait for it.
Yeah, that is for.
Yeah, con, it's water, you know?
I got you.
And if you can pull this up while these brothers get that. Finish that one, yep.
Alright,
Oh, yeah, you read that one, so never trust thy enemies. Yeah,
So,
go down to 16.
what is it again? Psalm
I think you were
64.
reading Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, Ecclesiastes.
Oh,
never
never
trust
trust
thy
thy
enemies.
enemies.
Yeah,
That one out.
yeah,
Where is
that
that?
one. And then if you could jump down to 16 on Ecclesiastes. Where did I think that I might have jumped over.
Oh, right, this is my bad, yeah. So this is Sirach again, chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
Right. And then when you jump down to the 16th verse,
It says, it backs up what the brother was just saying, right?
What the brother Shimon is.
Verse 16
Right.
says, an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips,
Right, the words of their mouth are smoother than butter, as the scriptures say. Right?
but in his heart
Right, in his mind.
he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit.
Right. Traps and snares and gins are all in their minds, especially for you Israelites out there, man. That's why the scriptures say never trust thy enemy, man.
Right.
And even after you read
This is truly the shadow of the valley of the shadow of
death,
death.
exactly. Death is all around us.
Right.
It's in the food, it's in the plastics that we have our water in. Here it is, water is supposed to quench our thirst.
Right.
But it's actually poison in it,
Right.
because if it gets heated up, as the brother had told me,
Right.
with the plastic gets heated up, it'll release all types of
Right,
chemicals.
well, the fluoride
In the
inside of
fluoride
it,
water.
fluoride in it, once it gets heated up, it makes it more potent, more strong, right?
Right.
You know, in the sense that
High concentrated.
right, it gets more concentrated, so the toxic itself, the venom itself,
More potent.
which is more potent and actually does more harm to you.
Right.
Right, it's lucky, if I may, the shit that the stuff that we're talking about right now, it has to do with a lot of social engineering, right? Where the food, the politics, they have put in place to move the society into a certain direction, right?
Right.
The scriptures always talk about us not sleeping, right? Proverbs 6, says that don't be a sluggard, always be awake.
Right.
Be on your square, it's a high time to wake up.
Micah 2:10, arise and depart, for this is not your rest.
Right.
It's roughly paraphrasing, it's polluted, this place is polluted, it shall be your sword destruction.
Right.
That's why I mentioned earlier that this is the valley, this is truly the valley of the shadow of death.
Right.
Because everything is set up against
right.
Jake.
That's right.
Everything is set up against Jake, and as the scripture says, as the in the mind of sin starts in the mind, and then you go back, you do it, you act on it. You know what I'm saying? And then what is the transgression of sinning?
Sin is a transgression of law.
Sin is transgression of law, right? So it's what is the wages of death?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like you set up, you think you're doing
Right.
something that you should be, and then you die.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So in this society, they lullaby us to sleep, right, while doing politics in the background,
Right.
and stuff like that. But the scriptures always talk about to be awake, be on your square, be on your watchtower, right?
Right.
This is Matthew 24:42. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour the Lord come.
That's right.
Right, and that's why when we watch him, we always, and that's what we watch him.
Right.
These devils are always watching. These
Right,
devils
right.
are always awake. They always telling the Lord, look at them sinners. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure this thing has like a certain amount of demons. You know what I mean? Edomites that do that.
Right.
That pray, not so much pray, right? But like what's it?
They put up enchantments.
Accusing us.
Oh, right.
Constantly. You know what I mean?
Right,
To the Lord.
they do a diligent search onto how to oppress the
Right,
people,
right.
with data, all that. This is all social engineering what we're
Right.
speaking about.
Like brother was saying, as we're commanded to watch as well as pray, right?
Right.
And these demons, as it says in the scriptures, they can't sleep unless they cause someone to fall. They tossing and turning in their bed unless they cause some wickedness to come upon, especially Israel, man.
Right.
But even to their own people, man.
Right.
You know?
They're
So-
masters at
Right.
psych warfare.
Right, exactly. Psyops, man. Psychological operation.
And if I may add, brother, if Esau is working 24/7, right? He's going above and beyond. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's on the left-handed. What you think the right-handed men are set up by Yahawashi outside, the watchmen, the
Right.
ones that are watching?
Right.
You see, what are they supposed to do? We're supposed to give them no rest either.
Right.
Right? We're supposed to give them no rest until Yahawah is established
Right.
and Jerusalem is a praise in the world.
Right.
Right now, Jerusalem is not a praise in the world. The people in the Amalekites living in Israel right now, that place is not a praise. They're out there praising Pride Month.
Right.
They're out there praising eating kosher pork.
Our land is
You know?
it's put to open shame right
Yeah.
now.
Right. It's like we mentioned chess, right? Every time these devils make a move and apply pressure onto the righteous, we have to, apply that same pressure
That's
back
right.
to them. It's literally a spiritual war that's going on.
That's
there.
absolutely right.
That's why the Lord said in Ephesians to put on the whole armor, man.
That's right.
That you could quench the fiery darts of the wicked, man.
That's right.
You know?
It truly is
a battle, a war, right?
And
Coming out of
spiritual warfare.
Yeah.
It's not the physical, man. I mean,
Right.
the physical is you'll see the end result
Right.
of losing spiritual warfare in the physical. Right. When niggas pass away or get judged or whatever, but
Right.
it starts in spirit, man.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and also your mind, where that is where the spirit is contained, baby.
Exactly.
I preach that real quick.
Yeah.
Psalm 36, verse 3 and 4 says, the words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. He has left us to be wise and to do good, right? He doesn't do good. He's off, man. That's what he does. He just goes left. He doesn't go right, right? It says, verse 4, he divides his mischief upon his bed. He set himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil.
Right.
Everything he does is evil.
Right. He said he abhorreth not evil. He doesn't avoid it, man. He embraces it, man.
Right.
Right.
Runs
You know,
to it.
he runs
And
to
don't
it.
care
Right.
if you
Yeah.
young or old, woman or male or female.
Right.
You know?
Woman or child,
You
older.
can just
yeah,
tell
no.
by their mannerism, the way they joke,
Right.
the way they talk.
Right, right.
Everything.
It's all geared towards.
And the Lord told us that they'll have no regards for the young or older.
Right.
Now we've been warned,
That was
man.
in the curses.
We've
Right.
definitely been warned.
Right.
Started with the apostles on down, and now as the brother said earlier, we giving him no rest. You constantly are seeing lessons go out by the hopeful elect, man.
That's right.
Because you got all these other jakes that belong to these different other camps, and they don't put
much
so many
work.
lessons in.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
it's like when you have a business, right? You have your own business or whatever. You have to be consistent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you could see results. So you
Right,
can see
right.
people coming in and buying your stuff. Well, we're doing the same thing, or through the Spirit, the Lord
That's
is
right.
doing the same thing.
That's right.
Constantly
That's right.
putting it out there,
That's
so
right.
the elect could be finally sealed. Everybody else could be warned. As far as our 2/3 brothers and sisters that are not brothers and sisters in this side, and also the other nations will know their judgment. This is constantly going out,
Right.
and the Lord ain't sugarcoating nothing as Esau is in this article. And as the
Right.
brother was saying, they pander to you. For you to sell a car to somebody, for you to sell a tripod, a camera, anything, you have to basically explain to your potential customer why they need that product. You know what I'm saying? And as you're hearing this article, they're not only letting their tongue fall upon themselves by actually admitting that they've been doing this for a long time, what the agenda is. They literally said Agenda 2030, right? You know what I'm saying? But they're also telling you at the same time why you need it. So only a dumbass person, only somebody that's spiritually and even like carnally, what's the word? Like closed-minded
Right.
would read this and not see, damn, this is a whole setup. And they're admitting that it's a setup. You know what I'm saying?
They lack spiritual discernment.
Discernment. They have no discernment, man. You're gonna read you hearing this article, we'll put it on the description box. You read this article, if you can't tell that this is a whole conspiracy,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? A whole agenda,
That's
a
right.
whole confession,
Right.
if you may, right?
Right.
If you can't see these things, then yo, man, hey man, when
not
it
for
comes
you.
out,
Lord
take
has
the
blinded,
seat.
right. It's not-
Take 3 seats.
It's not for him.
Right.
It's not for them.
It's not for you.
God has blinded
Yeah,
them.
that's
Right. Esau does things like that, right? He'll put like a warning, or he'll do like
He's doing it all in this article.
Yeah, he'll be like
Right,
emergency
right.
broadcast. This is not an emergency. This is a test.
Right.
Same thing with the vaccinations and stuff.
I forgot what's the name of it. I have it in a picture saved, so I don't even know where I have it in my gallery, but I know you brothers heard it. Esau works as there's a satanic ritual where Esau has to expose himself because he believes it. Esau believes in something called bad karma, right? When if you don't admit to what the wickedness that you're doing on the people, it's gonna come back and bite you, right? Not knowing that ultimately everything you're doing is gonna turn back and bite you because you're gonna reap what you sow.
Right.
But they believe, right? They believe that they gotta tell you to.
They know what it is. I think, and I don't remember the word. It's like they warn you,
Right.
and if you willingly do it, then the Lord can't look at them a certain way because they gave the warning type of shit.
Right.
Which is fucking
Right.
They
crazy.
can't get judged because they told you.
Right. But that's what they think. That's what the scripture says.
Right.
They think I was
Which is
with
the
you.
opposite of us.
Right.
Because we're warning you of the evils they doing, and we're the outer man is perishing every day. We're being renewed day by day, continuing righteousness. You see what I'm saying? But the elites, they do wickedness, they engulf in wickedness, they are the wicked, and then they tell you what they're doing to your face in a deceitful manner where you believe. Yo, for an example, right? Biden the other day, when there was a woman that she was in like early 20s and stuff, she said, I met you 13, 12 years ago. He goes, yeah, we go way back. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? These devils, man, they shameless.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I forgot where I was going with that. Salaki, I lost my
They lie, man.
Yeah, but
They set you up with the okie doke.
Yeah.
They admit that they set you up with the okie doke or the gin, the trap. And then they try to pretend like they're not responsible for what happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like my mother always says, when I used to do something when I was younger, she used to be like, oh, tú tira la piedra y pones la mano, like you do something and you hide yourself. That's what these devils do.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? The Esau will throw the rock at you, crack your head open, it says Esau on the fucking rock, and then he'll be like, I don't know who did that, but I got this physician over here to stitch you up, stick you with all types of bullshit, and you know, hey, it was pre-warned and all that, you know?
That's Esau. This is why I'm telling you not to trust this devil, man.
Hey, even their whole Congress and how their whole system is set up is to let you know what they're gonna do before they do it. Even though they're lying to you, you have to be able to discern, like, yo, these niggas is lying. I can't support that, or I'm good with that, or whatever, you know?
It's part of their witchcraft.
Right.
That's how they get the people. That's how they deceive the people. Oh, that's what I was trying to say, because Esau, even Biden was over here saying we go way back, right, to a woman, right, that way back she was a child, meaning he did some pedophilia shit.
I saw that.
But how do the people take it as, bro?
A joke.
A joke. Every time Esau reveals himself, he does some stupid shit, he reveals himself. You know what scripture that reminded me of? Scripture said when a rich man speaketh, right? How did it go?
When a poor man speaks, when a rich man speaks, everybody
hears.
Right.
So to the cloud. So when a rich man says some crazy shit, when Esau, even so-called white man, says some crazy shit, some shit that's out of this fucking world, that's extremely wicked.
On a hot mic, on live TV.
And people take it as a fucking joke. Bill Gates, he got a fucking, he's like, oh, he got some fucking mosquitoes trapped. He really had mosquitoes there.
He said they were engineered.
Mosquitoes.
Right. And everybody knows the mosquitoes don't fucking spread.
Right. Which that's another part of it.
Like, why mosquitoes? Why not fly or something?
And then what do he do? He opens it.
Flying palisades.
He goes, the poor shouldn't be the only one with the mosquitoes.
Right.
And then what does everybody do? They laugh at it.
Right. Hey, even for that TED talk that he had, when he put certain things up in the board.
Right. The things that are affecting the world.
CO, this, that, and H, I think for human.
Right.
We had to put one of these down or whatever. And he selected humans.
Right.
Kamala Harris just came out saying, if we want to, you saw it?
I didn't read into it, but I see
it. It was a little quick post. She was like, if we want our children in the future to breathe in good air, we have to reduce
population.
Population was the second one she snuck in there. Like, hold on, bitch, you ain't gonna just fly right by
that. Act like we ain't here with you,
bro. And she did it on TV, on live TV, which goes into what we're saying. They tell you before they do it. Just like this article is going into. They're admitting to doing it. from having the plans from mad long ago, and how it's all a part of an agenda, 23rd. What more do you need to know that these niggas is the devil?
Right.
This man is the devil.
Exactly. Because it's like a mix of course, the seed and the deceiver are his.
Right, man.
And it's the Lord making them have their own tongue to fall upon themselves, as the brother was explaining. And it's also their God complex.
Right.
Because the Most High, they want to be as the Most High. So Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi have the prophecies, right? As we're going into. So they say before, so he's doubled on the left-hand side, do the same thing, so they can appear as the Most High. That's why everybody's like, the Simpsons are so prophetic. You know what I mean? But even though it's his doubles that already was planning this shit out, and they're just making it play out in the real world.
Right, that's right. And we all know on top of that, the Simpsons is owned by high-ranking Freemasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this is not, some regular dude that owns it and is not gonna manipulate it. Now listen, when cartoons first came out, especially like on newspapers, it was for the adults. It wasn't for no fucking children. It wasn't for the children. I'll take that back. It wasn't for children. They knew that adults psychologically will pay attention because you see you see funny shit. Donald Duck bringing out a big ass hammer from his back and hammering some dude in the face with it or whatever, And but at the same time, will be little messages in there and shit. So they knew what they were doing, man.
Right.
It was always like that.
Yeah. Just like you watch those old Tom and Jerry cartoons. There's a lot of racial undertones with it. They always had the
right.
Big Mama fucking black
Looney
woman.
Tunes used to do too. Remember with the Indian?
Yeah.
An Indian dude that some bomb fell or something, and the Indian. All of the whole map goes inside of the hole. The whole fucking landscape goes inside of the hole, and then his name like United States or some shit like that, or California.
Right.
There used to be on a gas, and then he throws it in your face.
Right.
Marmadukes, I think they call them, the little shit that you put on your newspaper. The little newspaper cartoon. I don't know if they still do that. I haven't read a newspaper in a minute.
Yeah, but they did have a lot of probably not anymore.
Marmadukes or some shit like that.
Probably not anymore because even Dilbert, remember that? Yeah, he got into trouble because he said some racist shit or whatever. But like we always say, comida. That's why the comedy, is food for thought, man. There's a level of truth to it, and that's what makes it funny. Man.
Right, niggas could tell you something, you're gonna eat it up. In other words, that's where it comes from, man.
Right. You grab that 16-year-old.
Yeah, I'll finish that off. Ecclesiastic is what's it again? 12, verse 16. It says, "An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips."
Right. So we were talking about Kamala Harris, right? As the recent one, What she's saying, she's speaking sweetly with her lips, man, saying that she's trying to attempt to solve a problem of humanity, but there's an underhanded thing that's going on, as the scriptures say. Man.
Right. But in her
or his, they're all double.
But in his heart or mind, he imagined it, right? Because how do you imagine with your heart?
Right.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know that it's really what is it, la'ab?
Yeah, la'ab.
La'ab.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
your mind.
Your heart is your mind, man. Your heart is an important organ, but all it does is pump blood and distribute blood. Right. Or the circulation.
Right.
Blood all over your body, man. But this is where everything is. You can't even. It needs each other, but this is the operating system, man. The mind. Right. You know what I'm saying? CPU. Right. If the mind don't control if the mind don't control the pump of the blood pump in your heart, then you'll either make excess or too little of the blood. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's a point. He said.
All right, cool. I thought it was gonna be.
You continue talking. Matthew 6:21. For where your treasure is, there will your heart also be.
Right. And I will treasure in our mind, man. Right. We wait on the Lord. Hey, that article makes us happy, man. Right. You know what I'm saying? We want that shit to go down. You know what I mean? That's
a part of us keeping our mind, our eyes. Because there's a lot of ways that you describe the mind in the scriptures. Our mind, our eyes, single, man. On the kingdom, man.
And we're that much closer. This is just another phase, man.
Right.
For them,
This is these different articles that we're bringing out and these different prophecies that we're seeing unfold is good news because we know that we're just that much closer to the downfall of our enemies. Right. Keeping our eye on the prize, man. We're that much closer to the end of this race, man. As the apostle talks about running that race, man. Seeking that. Right. We run all to seek that crown, man. That prize.
right.
You know, that incorruptible crown, man.
Right.
Because everybody in the world got that corruptible crown, because everything that we see around us is all gonna burn up, man.
And
It's all vanity.
getting it in on this first go around, man.
Right.
And ruling with the Lord for the next 1,000 years, man.
Right, we're trying to
You know
get
what I'm
that
saying?
first goal.
The Lord's always gonna rule, but there's something real special around
If you get it
about
right
the first
away.
1,000, you know, the
Yeah,
first
you
fruits,
know.
man.
And you gotta run this race. You gotta run this race like there's only one crown, man.
That's
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody else is basically running for the same crown.
You gotta hope that you'll take that,
You'll take that.
no matter
There's only a
no matter
few-
how many other people run it, man.
Only a few of
Right.
chosen.
Right.
Only a few, man.
So it says
Many
that-
called, few were chosen.
That's right. Right now, called for chosen. Verse 16 again. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his mind he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit, a snare, a gin, right? He will weep with his eyes.
They'll say, what about the children?
Right.
This
right.
is best for humanity.
Right.
The planet is dying. We gotta do something. There's too many people on the planet, and we don't have enough resources. We don't have enough food to feed the children. What are we gonna do?
Right.
Let a couple teardrops come down. But what do?
But if it, I was wondering, like, remember that Edomite nigga that used to come out at late night and be like, you want to help this little African boy?
Yeah.
I remember how I forget how it used to be, or donate, whatever.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
2 cents a day.
Yeah, with 2 cents
you
a
can help
day.
this
You
little-
can feed this.
Yeah, nigga
Why
have
the fuck don't you feed them?
Right,
Right.
I know, but then Ham out there, Ham looking like he's eating.
Yeah.
Yo, this nigga's ribs ain't even showing. Right?
But they'll put some honey on the nigga and make some flies stick to him.
Right,
and shit like
right.
that, and make it look all
Right.
crazy.
Looking all
They got this
down,
little- yeah,
a little
looking all
fly in his
sad,
fucking
he got
eye
a
and
diaper
shit.
on and shit.
I get grossed out looking at him. But man, get this shit out my TV, bro. Fuck out, I'm eating right now. Bro.
You mean that big belly he has?
Yeah, with the big belly.
No, but that is a disorder.
Yeah.
When you don't eat, you're starving like that.
Yeah, but that's your gases and all that, the body eating and stuff, all types of shit.
Some type of disorder.
Then, you know,
So then make sure they play on your emotions.
listen, they have done a they have calculated how much it costs to basically eradicate, not do away, but eradicate, which is basically the same thing, poverty.
Right.
And it's up in the billions.
Right.
But it's a quarter, it's a few hundred billions, but that's a quarter of all the billions that these billionaires have.
Right.
They got trillions.
Right, they got
And
trillions.
you know what's crazy, right? A perfect example of that right now in the present time. Try to analyze this, right? USA just sent billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine.
Right.
To Ukraine, when Americans, right? And a lot of these Americans, let's talk about you so-called white people. A lot of you so-called white people now, you are the ones that are the homeless ones. You guys are the ones that are on drugs. Right? Our people's in that local predicament since day one.
Yeah,
We understand that shit. We're used to that. You feel me? But Esau Edom is saying F their own so-called white brethren in America, and they're leaving them hanging.
Right.
Look how they left. Puerto Rico in the time of the hurricane. They ain't do shit for PR. I think they was sending some bullshit ass. I don't know what the fuck. They did nothing.
That's what Trump was out there with the
Right.
Right.
I would
You
throw
see what
him
I'm
beat that
saying?
shit right back.
That's why you can never trust his devil, because ultimately he doesn't care about his people, man.
Right.
You put on little bullshit ass shit that he's worried about the people, but in reality he doesn't.
Hey, one time there was a hurricane Flacca, and they started knocking on people's doors and taking people's guns.
This was a Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah, it was.
This was in New Orleans.
New Orleans, right.
When in New Orleans, when the hurricane happened, right, what did the people do? What did the elites do? They took advantage of that catastrophic event, how you say?
Yep.
They took advantage of that event, had the military go in, and they were authorized that if they came in your house and they asked for the guns, and you denied to be what's the word when you go along with them? If you
Comply.
when you denied to be compliant with them, they were authorized to shoot you on the spot. And what they did was they went around every single Jake and took their guns.
Right.
Ultimately, that's another agenda, right?
Yeah.
Take away the guns of America. It's not just Jakes.
Right.
It's you Edomites too.
Right.
Take away the Second Amendment. So ultimately, when they try to enforce any type of unrighteous decrees, they got the military to back them up, and America can't fight back.
And that's
Martial law.
Martial law.
Them
Right.
troops are gonna safely walk down the street.
Yeah.
They don't worry about guns shooting
Yeah.
down.
So-
That's to minimize
Less resistance. They want less resistance.
Less
Minimize the resistance.
Right.
And also like death and injury to
Right,
them.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's why they switched the as the brother was saying, with the Second Amendment. and the First Amendment that, you know, we'll go
Freedom
into
of speech.
freedom of speech.
Right.
But they're saying they switched the definition of a mass shooting. You know, from, I think it used to be like, I don't know, maybe 7, 8, 10. Now it's like 3 or 4. So
Right.
every other week or every couple days,
Right.
it's a mass shooting. They just said a mass shooting in Georgia. This I don't know who it was, but they shot and killed 4 people. So now it's a mass
What
shooting.
does that legally make you a fucking
Terrorist, right?
not only that, but a fucking when you kill 3 people or more, it's serial killer.
Serial killer,
Not only
right?
that,
Right. Yeah.
Well, every mass shooter is a serial killer, especially if they all 3 people or more.
Yeah. So technically, they're supposed to be open getting shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or, you know,
Hey, and speaking real quick on what you said, man,
Right.
about how the economy's all fucked up over here, right? The economy's always been fucked up for Jake. So
Yeah.
Jake is like, what economy?
Whatever.
speaking of laws,
But hold on real quick, the last one I was gonna switch it, man, I'll pass the ball to you. A few $1 billion, wouldn't that, what's that shit called, stimulate the United States economy?
Right.
Instead of $1,000, what the fuck
Right.
did $1,200 do to a certain amount of people?
Right.
That wasn't even to everybody.
It actually fucked everybody up more.
That fucked everybody up
Yeah,
because of
yeah.
the,
you gotta pay for it on tax anyway.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
It was
We didn't even ask
it was
for it.
just more
The way- the law.
money.
Right.
But the way they wrote it off,
Right.
just the instructions and like the boundaries and how it was gonna be paid back. When Ukraine ain't gonna, I don't even think Ukraine is authorized or not authorized, obligated to pay nothing back to
I
us.
doubt it.
And that was all your tax dollars, nigga.
Right.
And if they do,
Yeah.
and if they do, because you know how America works, America goes to every single nation, builds something, creates something, and says, this is for you, I'm helping you out, and then what happens, right? They make it a tourist site, and knowing that that country would never be able to pay them back, so now that country, every profit that country gets, it ultimately is going back to repaying America, and that country stays in that low position.
Hey,
That's what they did in Central America.
Right. All over the place.
Yeah, all over the place.
You only got a couple spots with no central bank, and those are the ones that they want to spread freedom to.
Yeah.
North Korea, who else gonna got it? Iraq didn't have it at one point, or that's why they wanted to be for that. Well, I think it was the opium and all this other shit that was around there. But certain countries that didn't have central banks, that they didn't have a grip on them,
Right,
which
right.
goes into them having the fat into the earth.
Right.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
up until the early 2000s, it was illegal for U.S. troops to police the streets until Obama removed the Posse Comitatus Act. I have it right here. It says the Posse Comitatus Act bars federal troops from participating in civilian law enforcement except when expressly authorized by law. This 143-year-old law embodies an American tradition that sees military interference in civilian affairs as a threat to both democracy and personal liberty.
When did that come out?
This was
How
in,
long did that article?
The time of Obama.
Well, this is 2021, but Obama was the one who removed that.
So from 2021, it was 143 years?
I believe so, yeah.
It so happens it's on the 144th already.
Next year, yeah.
You know, we're probably already in the 145th, but from the 144th on down, it's probably been
Right, see?
activated.
Right.
Because Obama puts it in place, but sometimes,
It takes a while.
yeah, sometimes the acting president,
Frame is missed by law.
doesn't, what's that shit called? Like click it or ticket, it's not enforced.
Yeah, not unfortunate.
You know, so even though they did it back then, and now it's I mean, I don't know.
They're talking about it right now, so.
Because it's crazy, it's 143 years old.
Even when the Boston bombing happened, they brought military vehicles in the streets. That's what happened. You're allowed to now use military weapons as police officers.
Okay, they militarize the police.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Right, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 94. I'm going to start at verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mysteries by a law? They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood. But the Lord Yahawah is my defense, and my God is the rock of my refuge. And he shall bring upon them their own iniquity, and shall cut them off in their own wickedness. Yea, the Lord our God shall cut them off.
Beautiful. So it says, woe unto them, woe meaning destruction, that frameth mischief by law, right? As the brother just brought out, you know, and as different articles and everything, they're framing mischief, right? They think about the seats upon their bed, they can't sleep lest they cause something to fall. But the Lord said, as the scriptures say, he that diggeth the pit shall fall therein. That's what the brother just read. You know, so they're gonna fall by their own snares that they are setting for our people, man. You know, they're gonna pay for this shit, man.
That's right.
You know.
And that's all you got on that? I was gonna finish 16 real quick. It says here, just because you said blood. It says, right, he will weep with his eyes. The last thing I read, right? It says, but if he find opportunity,
call it again.
Ecclesiasticus 12, verse 16, the end of 16, it says, he will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood.
That's right.
I should read the next two. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first.
That's right.
And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hand and whisper much and change his countenance.
That's right. Read that again. Yo, and you know what? That's just how Esau moves, man. Esau Edom will pretend that he's helping you and he's doing certain things in your favor. But in reality, in his mind, when you're not there, he's speaking ill about you. He's plotting out how he's gonna use his so-called good deeds against you. Right? A perfect.
Hey, so like,
if you can read that again,
if you don't go with what he's offering, you because you're a demon.
That's right. A perfect example, right? A gift destroys the heart. See, he does certain things. He does certain things that make it seem like he's doing it for your well-being, but in reality, he's over here talking like, look at this.
Which is how he's selling that article.
Look at this fucking nigga taking that shit, thinking that I'm here helping him out.
They got a meme. Remember the meme where all the white guys like they were laughing and the Congress thing, and then the bottom is like, oh, these niggas really think we
care about.
Care about them.
Yo, we can't. That's why you cannot trust this devil, man. You cannot trust this devil, man.
And he tells you himself, we're not responsible for the repercussions of the vaccination. That shit was passed in the 80s. And after that, a list of vaccines were put on.
And you sign a paper when you take it.
Right. But a list of them were added to when a child was born. It was only a few prior to that. After that, a bunch were slapped on.
Are you gonna read what you just read?
Right, yeah. And if I may add, they're saying that the government has always studied the Amish. There's no autistic children in the Amish community. And there's no vaccines already. Not one. You won't find it. Unless them niggas leave because they got an opportunity to bounce. But that's what they already know. Right, it's the vaccine.
All right, I got a precept, right? Ecclesiasticus 14:7, just one quick precept.
As a matter of fact, you just reminded me, there was a guy that said that there is no study shown that children that have been taking vaccines from birth to now, there's no vaccine, there's no report saying that they're 100% healthy. Everybody has something, and some people are worse than others. It hasn't prevented anything. You know what I'm saying? If anything, it made the body worse.
From our baby food, to our clothing.
I was gonna say, and just to let you brothers and sisters know how serious these devils are coming after us. Even if the juice don't get you, you know, the different ones that they give for birth and everything. There's been studies that have been coming out with that red 40 and everything that's linked to children behavioral issues.
They got it out in the chips.
I mean,
them chips are delicious.
And the yellow one for the Cheetos. No, the Cheetos. See how it's really orangey yellow? Shit, that's supposed to be bad. So when you look up what red 40 is, because you can look at chips, right? And you read the ingredients, it says canola oil and corn syrup and this, that.
Canola oil is the worst thing.
Right. But when it says red 40 and yellow this or yellow that, you look up what that specifically means, and it's a whole fucking list of chemicals that make up red 40 or blue 30 or whatever the fuck it is. And you're putting all that shit in your body. You know?
And it starts when you're a child.
And then you wonder why your child is acting like Beavis when he drinks coffee and shit. You know, wilding out, banging into walls and shit.
Absolutely right. The book of Ecclesiasticus 14:7, backing up the precept that he read, you know, a couple minutes ago, you know, which you're gonna read again. Ecclesiasticus 14:7, and if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly. And at the last, he will declare his wickedness.
So if
come on now.
Good, you're like, God damn, I didn't mean that for that shit to happen.
He did it unwillingly.
Yes,
And ultimately, he's gonna declare his wickedness. It might seem like he's doing something well for you, Right, that's why people love. That's why people. What does the scripture say? Right, war on them to go to Egypt for help. That's why a lot of Israelites love coming to Daddy Esau, man. They look at him for the solution.
Daddy, man.
Right, they don't go to Yahawah Yahawashi. They go to Esau, you so-called white men. They're out here worshiping the creation more than the Creator.
That scripture is beautiful because it says they don't call on the Lord, neither do they seek the Holy One of Israel.
That's right.
Yahawashi. So it's
They
like,
seek a covering, but not of His Spirit.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. They seek to go, like the brother said.
that's why the Lord is like, run to your God.
That's
man.
right.
Don't come to me.
Yeah.
And the
Man,
preacher that
I'll
said
be
that.
laughing at your
Right.
ass.
Yeah, you're gonna get destroyed. That's
Right.
going down to this devil, man, because the devil's gonna get destroyed.
Huh.
No hand joining hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished.
Yep.
You wanna join hand in hand with this devil, go right the fuck ahead, man.
Elbow to elbow and shit
Right,
like
right,
that.
right.
Well,
We shall overcome and all this shit. Yeah.
Y'all all gonna die.
Yeah,
Y'all all
man.
gonna get thrust
Yep.
through, man. That's what scripture says,
Right.
man.
So if
And
you don't
rightfully
believe
so.
what we're saying, we have heard people say that if there's no Edomites in heaven, I don't want to go there.
Right.
So if you don't believe what we're saying and you out here loving your oppressor, keep that same energy.
Right.
Because to this
Like
day,
Jacob's trouble, the Lord, I remember there was a lesson that said the Lord is the king. Well, I don't know if I said that. No, but he's a king. I think I said that. He's the king of rude awakenings.
right.
I mean, that's true, bro. Hey, man.
There was a show called A Million Ways to Die, something
Yeah,
like that.
right.
Remember on
No, there was 1,000 ways to die.
1,000 ways.
Right.
The Lord got an
The Lord is the infinity way to die.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
the Lord can have you fucking just disperse like into dust, or just become just anything, man.
What's
Just-
that shit called?
Just one perfect
Combustion.
spontaneous
Spontaneous
combustion.
combustion.
Yeah. He had people like that.
That shit's real, weird, bro. They can be caught up on fire, like they just walk.
I mean, you think about it, your body's made out of, we have a certain amount
Made
of
of carbon.
electricity,
Carbon.
carbon,
Yeah.
electricity, chemicals,
Right.
we have acid in our
Iron.
stomach. We have
Iron.
the wall of the stomach that don't let the acid pass it.
Right,
Like, yo,
right.
like, you know.
Bodies are definitely inflammable. If you ever saw somebody touch like a power line and
Yeah.
Right.
they catch on fire.
Right.
You know, but if it was us,
Hey,
we gonna
we
get
have
the powers.
Right.
That's one of the minerals that we're made out of, copper. And copper is a conductor of electricity. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, the Lord didn't. We're not made out of all these minerals by accident, you know, or just because the Lord wanted to throw it. Everything has its purpose. All, what is it, a billion cells that we have or something like that?
Yeah.
The amount that Esau has told us, you know, we believe it to a certain extent, but every cell has a purpose. Every cell has a purpose, man. If not the majority to do one thing, or all of them to do individual things.
The Lord is perfect.
Right. He knows every hair in our head.
So he created us perfect.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? There's no mistake in us.
No, it's not.
But what does Esau
We're
Edom do?
perfectly imperfect.
Right.
I think is the word.
What does Esau Edom do? He come and say, you don't need your wisdom teeth.
Right.
You don't need your liver.
You don't need the
You don't need your
tonsils.
tonsil. You don't need your tonsil. How, Sway?
Why would
How? So the Lord made a mistake?
Hey, and you know your tonsils?
Yo, I heard root canals.
Tonsils are very important.
Yeah, they are. Tonsils are like
They're
They
the body's
detect-
immune system.
yeah, they detect when you put it when you're eating stuff,
Right.
and detects what it is, and then they'll make up like an antibody, like
Yes.
something to fight it.
Yes.
So these niggas remove it and then straight run your shit.
Elder Apostle Tahar made that lesson.
Right,
He made
right.
lesson. He
Oh, I didn't see
said,
that.
he said that's what the tonsils are for.
Right,
See,
right.
that's to make an immune system.
I don't know if I heard it from him or
to make
someone
an immune for anything harmful to the body.
Right.
That's what the tonsils are for.
So, see that, and that makes perfect sense, right? Because if the devil
And it's
was going
located right
around,
there,
right? If the devil-
Injecting, right,
exactly,
right.
injecting
Right.
and lowering,
Right.
you know, the people's immune system. Of course, they would say that the tonsils, and they give you a gift, as we were talking about, give you some ice cream.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we
Afterwards,
can tell
a
you
little
that,
lollipop.
right? A little lollipop.
As you're about to be affected for the rest of your life, but here's a little lollipop.
Here's a lollipop for you.
Made of corn syrup.
Right.
And yellow and red
In
40.
red 40 to really kill your ass, man. As it says in the Planet of the Apes, man, these devils are the harbingers of death, man. And that was, you know, they were basically mocking the Israelites, calling us monkeys and shit. But, you know, we don't get into all that shit.
Right.
But you had the,
Yeah, you want to bring that up again? Right here.
yeah,
So it says, he will weep with, this, back in this, Ecclesiastic is 12, the end of 16, it
You
says,
go straight to the,
17?
Yeah,
We'll go to 17, it says, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first.
So if something fucked up is happening to you all of a sudden, like a crazy ailment, you know, or you know, some crazy tax, or they, you know, your house is about, you about to get evicted, whatever the fuck it is.
September 11th.
September 11th, right? Some fucked up shit. Who's gonna be the first one you see orchestrating or somewhere linked to that shit? Esau eating the so-called white man.
Right.
Or one of these other heathen nations. But the top enemy, as it says in Psalms the 83rd chapter, it lists Esau first, man. Enemy number one, man.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, bro.
If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend
That's right.
to help thee,
That's right.
yet shall he undermine thee.
That's right.
This is for the betterment of society. This, you know, and like we were talking about the CBDCs and the micro C-hip being implanted in your skin, right? Now everybody, as the brother talked about with homelessness and everything and all these financial woes that are happening, right? It's not hard for the devils to be like, we'll erase all debt, because you can't forget that they want a universal basic income anyway.
That's right.
So if they're gonna basically collapse the dollar,
Right.
inflate everything so nobody can afford to do any fucking thing.
That's right.
And then they say, you know what? We got this device that will actually give you, we'll erase all your debt and we'll give you 10,000 credits. I don't know how the fuck they're gonna do it. It might be like an arcade or some shit. You get credits instead of money.
Right.
And it
Well,
takes,
for every action there's a reaction.
Right,
So
exactly.
even though they're gonna, what is it, 330 billion or 33 billion, if they wanna, what you just said, people that borrow money from.
oh, they'll erase the debt.
Like,
Right,
for those,
right.
those schools.
For the college students and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Even though that's gonna still have a ripple effect on the economy itself, no matter what.
Right.
Because those were investors' money, you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
he actually found a loop to do that, because you couldn't do that. There's laws put in place for people that invest money in these big companies that we know about. They have to get their money no matter what, no matter if it's all right, so this company's probably gonna go it's going to be dissolved, or it's going to run out of business in a couple years because of the way it's going. Well, liquidate this shit, get our money before that happens. So if we have to cut 50% of the people that was working, they'll do that. You know what I'm saying? As long as they get their money.
Right, which is, you know, which goes into AI anyway.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right,
They're cutting all these different jobs.
Right.
But you know, they're going to speak sweetly with their lips
Right.
and convince the people, you know, that this is a good thing to get that micro C-hip,
Right.
and that this would actually forward society.
Yeah.
It would be better for the environment, however they want to play it, man.
Right.
You know, but this is the snare that they're laying for our people, and this is why it's so important that the Lord sent us out to give warning onto our people. Ezekiel 3:17, Son of Man, give them warning.
Right.
You know, hear the voice. How's it go? If I can grab it real quick. So
Can you grab it real quick?
Yeah,
I was gonna bring out
yeah,
because of what you're saying. No, the word undermine.
oh, right.
Because you know these scriptures are our foundation, right? Our
Right.
base, right? And
Right.
what undermine says is a verb. It says erode the base or foundation of a rock formation, right? In parentheses, it says number 2, lessen the effectiveness, power, or ability of, especially gradually or insidiously, man.
Ooh.
And that's exactly
Right.
what these devils is doing
Right.
by basically selling us these lies, man.
Right.
that we need to have.
That's why, you know, as the scriptures say, you know, be that seed that is planted on good ground, man. You know, with that rock. You know, Yahawashi, man.
Right.
You have to be firmly rooted, because when the adversity comes,
Right.
when these different, what was the word to use?
Undermine.
Undermining and tricks and deceits
Right.
come from the devil, you'll be firmly rooted. You
Right.
won't be taken away with the adversity
Right,
like
right.
everybody
Yeah,
else.
the reason we're rooted, meaning unmoved, and we believe in this foundation that we have that we've been given and taught. The reason we won't take it is because we know the Lord guide us, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Those of you that take the see him, ultimately you don't trust the Lord.
Trust and oppression.
You trust in oppression.
Right.
You don't even know that you trust in
Right.
oppression, but you definitely don't trust the Lord.
Right.
You know that you don't trust the Lord.
Yeah, you are.
Because people be like, especially Latin tribes and northern and southern, period. We're spiritual people. No matter what, we'll be like, oh my, I hope not. But why you say I hope not? Well, you don't even you don't read the scriptures, and why you say that word hope?
Right.
Well, you have to have hope that the Lord's gonna keep you
Right.
from starving to death.
Right.
You know what I'm
Which is
saying?
faith, man.
Which is faith.
Black tribes, they love to say primero Dios.
Yeah, yeah.
Primero Dios.
And if si Dios quiere,
Yeah,
the Lord's will.
It
right,
basically
like
Lord's
the
will,
scripture
in
says.
other words, primero Dios, like it, primero
Because
means
this
first,
is-
and Dios means God, but it doesn't mean first God. And primero Dios is like in Lord's will. That's how you say it in Spanish, right?
So yeah, what threw me off? What was I saying? Yeah, so our people very spiritual, man.
Bags, brother.
Our family is very spiritual, man. Our family, our people are very spiritual because as the brother said, we're always quick to like, you know, if it's Lord's will, I hope not. Or when we get locked up, that's when we're praying and stuff. Esau don't do shit like that. All these other nations don't do shit like that. You feel me? You know? So, let me see something. I still got, oh yeah. So verse 17. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, ye shall, yet always reminds me. Yet shall he undermine thee. He will lessen your ability to trust in the basis that you was taught, that you've been coming up on, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, it's like, you know, we always talk about likening, you know, our Heavenly Father with fathers and their, you know, earthly fathers and their children, right? It's like your son or one of your sons, instead of trusting in you that you're gonna do what you said you're gonna do, a fucking stranger comes down the fucking street and says, you know, oh, I got a lollipop for you. And then, you know, if your son was to go over there and trust in it,
Right.
that's deceitful, and that would get him destroyed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Or simply as, oh dad, I want a cup of cookie, but it's up there, and then I tell him, hold on, give me a few minutes,
right.
because if you climb up there, there's a possibility you may fall, hurt yourself, or make a mess, and then he goes and do it on his own,
Right.
and does a
And
mess or even
trusting-
breaks it.
Yeah, that would be like a form of him trusting in his own abilities, or whatnot, even though you already warned
What is
him.
it? As the scripture says, never to lean on your own understanding.
Understanding,
Your
right.
children don't understand that they can get hurt. This is why they're fearless, most of them.
Right.
They fly off fucking four, five steps.
Right.
You know what I
They
mean?
don't understand.
They run around the pool
Right.
when they don't.
Right.
They're all happy, but the whole mood changes when you fall and you scrape yourself in that goddamn crater of
Right.
of
Which
the
is
pavement.
which is exactly why, and that's beautiful you said that, which is exactly why the Lord set up the fathers and the mothers to lead the children, and He set up the prophets, the men, right, to teach the babes,
Right.
right, how to move, man, how to serve
And
them,
give warning from
give
Him.
warning. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got it. All right.
Ezekiel 3 and 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel.
When you're a watchman, you know, I always think about the brother Zayan from the Boston camp, man. You know, you're on your post, man. You're watching for the danger to come, man. Why? Because our family's in here, man. You
Right.
know, our family's behind the walls, man.
That's right.
It's no different than if we was it was a castle. You know, and we, you know, we're sitting there on our post and everything, and all of a sudden we see a group of fucking Edomite Roman soldiers or whatever coming over.
Right.
What do you gotta do? You gotta blow the trumpet, let our people know. But
Right.
you have to make sure you blow the correct sound though. It has to be a certain sound, because if you blowing the
Right, you gotta get the
sound-
warning.
Right. It can't be a
warning
one of
song.
mirth. Yeah, it couldn't be like, oh, the party's coming. It can't be
Right.
something like that.
It can't be celebrated.
Right,
It can't, because I'm pretty sure, brother, when you got a victory at war, our people used to go, woo, like we
Right.
just won. See, but there's probably a different vibration, a different
tone,
tone, a different sound.
Right.
When it's
feast day.
it's warning,
Feast day
it's
or-
coming,
right.
war is coming.
Right, war is coming.
When we as watchmen, we sit in the watchtower. We in the watchtower, we watching like, hold up. I mean, think about the movie Mulan. If you ever seen that in the Disney Channel. In the Mulan, there was I believe that was the Great Wall of China. There was little spots set up around the tower where when they see something, they will light up a flame a certain area, and then that would let that other person know they're watching too. Hold up, he just warned me.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? He just warned me.
Yeah,
Let me light my shit. And now we're warning every little post
And
is
check-
being lit up on
Check,
fire.
that's so beautiful you said that, because
Like
this
those
article,
articles or
right,
something,
right?
this article that we started off with, right?
Right.
The brother that posted it,
Yeah.
he set that torch
Right.
so another brother could post it,
That's
and
right.
another brother, and then we
That's
see
right.
it, it's like,
And
so
the
now
water
we're
has been
giving,
going
yeah,
on
the
the
water
whole-
going
That's right.
around.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, because the WHO is and WEF is global.
Right.
I forget how many countries so-called intellectual men.
Right,
Intellectual
the
men.
mountains, the government.
Oh, that's the duck tool.
Oh,
Duck tool over there, the yellow
This is
one.
loud as fuck.
Yeah, man, you know, and the warning has been gone out.
Let me
It
get
has
to
gone
you.
out.
Shot Ezekiel 3:17, son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth. She's always speaking about my mouth. That's the Lord's mouth. We are the Lord's mouthpiece. The Lord is using us as vessels, Lord willing vessels of honor, to give warning to his people. Possessor, we belong to Yahawashi, you Israelites, all right? So it says, son of man, I have made thee watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me.